What's happening, guys? Welcome back. This segment we are going to talk about whether or not Israel Adesanya is the greatest middleweight of all time. After his last victory against his rival Alex Pereira, you have some high-profile mixed martial arts figures touting him as the greatest middleweight of all time. To name a few, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Rogan, Chael Sonnen, and I have to respectfully disagree. Some of this is opinion, some of this is flat-out numbers and stats. So with Anderson Silva, he had a run in the UFC from 2006 to 2013. During that time, he had 16 consecutive victories. He had the longest UFC title reign, 2,457 days. He also had 10 successful title defenses, longest win streak in UFC history, most UFC middleweight title fights with 13, most wins in UFC middleweight title fights, 11. He is tied for the most knockouts in UFC middleweight history. That's 8, tied with Uriah Hall and Thiago Santos. Most successful title defenses in UFC middleweight history, 10. Most finishes in UFC middleweight history, 11. I mean, I could just keep going. I'm just going to list his accolades. Now, if you compare Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva stat for stat, accomplishments versus accomplishments, some things Adesanya edges Silva, but Anderson Silva's stats and accomplishments eclipse and surpass Adesanya's. And I think there's a little bit of recency bias going on here. And it's normal, it happens, people are human beings. You tend to forget how great things were or people in the past. But when I heard about people touting Israel Adesanya as the greatest middleweight of all time, I'm like, don't agree with that. Not yet. Maybe before it's all said and done for him, depending what he does, maybe he can have that title. I think he has a ways to go. He certainly is not there yet. And part of that is opinion again. Part of that is just flat out stats and numbers. You can't argue with stats and numbers. I saw Anderson Silva's reign, before he even entered the UFC. I was one of those guys that I knew what he was going to do when he entered the UFC. I was following him before that. And I remember a lot of people thought that Chris Lieben was going to destroy Anderson Silva. That wasn't the case with his debut. It was the other way around. Wasn't a shocker to me. But that's when he started his reign of terror in the UFC. And from there, just like utter dominance, brilliance. The man was just like magic on the feet. Amazing diversity in striking, timing, speed, agility, octagon awareness. It's like Anderson was fighting in 2x speed and everybody else was competing at normal speed. And at the time, he was beating top people. At the time. So yeah, respectfully disagree that Israel Adesanya is the greatest middleweight of all time. He got a little bit to go, but you guys let me know in the comment section. Do you think Adesanya is the greatest middleweight of all time? Or do you think Anderson Silva still has that title? Eager to read your thoughts. Thanks for watching the video, guys. And until next time, take care.